All right guys, welcome back. Another video that's kind of summing up the most recent event that we've been at. So as I said in the last video, the next time you see us, it will be after Diesel Truck Wars, and so that's where we are today. Right now it's Sunday. This is the day after Truck Wars. And I'm gonna kind of do the same thing I did with Rudy's and just do a video kind of like a recap or a summary of how the event went for us and some of the guys that were with us. And then I'll probably do another video after this that will just be a coverage video, kind of like I said, like the Rudy's videos were. So anyways, if you're not interested in hearing how any of us did, you just want to watch videos of trucks, this probably isn't the video for you. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and do a little recap of how our weekend went. I will do a little disclaimer out here that I made a ton of passes at Truck Wars. And so I'm not 100% sure which time slip goes with each pass. I'm going to try to get the names and trucks right as to who I was racing, and the time slips matched up with some videos in here. But again, I'm not 100% sure because I want to say it was somewhere around 20 passes I made at Truck Wars. So anyways, we'll go ahead and dive into how the weekend went. So before I get started on the dad bod and how our weekend went, I'll go ahead and hit on a couple key points on some of the other guys. Jared, the Kill Devil Diesel crowd, they did a little bit of work to the 6.7. As you know, it was a pretty solid 670 truck at Rudy's. They were running ET because of the no roll cage. Going into Truck Wars, they made some changes. They were going to try to push it a little harder, and they ended up running into some issues. They did end up with a personal best. I believe the truck went like a 651. So they're, getting the times down with a little data logging, a little fine tuning. The truck's gonna freaking fly. But anyways, congratulations to them guys on getting a new personal best and picking up some time with the truck. As you may have seen if you were out there or in pictures, Nathan decided to take the Merc out there. So this is a old, I don't even know the year, don't even want to tell y'all because it's gonna be wrong, but the Mercedes is old and wore out. She's been rode hard, put up wet. This car has got some piece together stuff in it, but it, for some reason, does not want to die. So we took the car out the other night and ran it on the draggy. We didn't even break the speed limit, I don't think. The car went, I think, 13.6 on the first time we ran it in the 8th mile. The second time it went 13.3. So it found some horsepower somewhere in between the two runs. So went into Truck Wars, and the car ran, well, it ran the whole day. But it did keep picking up time without me in the car with him, so shedding that weight, and then also his probably 500 pounds of tools that were in the trunk taken out. First round qualifying, the car went a 12.6, so a whole second faster than the night before. Second round, it went a 12.3 and some change. So the car kept getting faster. I want to say he set his dial in at a 12.35, and I think he actually made it a couple rounds into ET before he finally got knocked out. I hadn't had a chance to talk with Chad yet, but Chad made some pretty stout passes in, I believe, Singles Elite and Outlaw. The truck was running good from what I saw. As I said, I didn't really get to talk to him much. Congratulations to him and his now fiance. He proposed at the track and she said yes, so congratulations to you guys. I wish you guys the best. Buddy had the old Mad Max Dumpster Performance Duramax out as always. He was making pretty solid rounds, and I think he went a 571, which to my knowledge may be his fastest pass out yet. But unfortunately he ran into some issues. The dumpster finally let him down a little bit, and he ended up having to run with these issues in Outlaw. And unfortunately for him, Trey ended up knocking him out. Trey beat him on the tree a little bit, and also Trey ran a faster time. I want to say Trey ran a 580 to Buddy's 6.0, I believe that's correct. But speaking of 6.0s and Trey, congratulations to him. He ended up taking second in Outlaw, I believe it was. Had a little technical difficulty and the truck stalled out on the starting line, and unfortunately that ended his night for him. The guy he was racing had some issues as well, so really Trey only really had to make a halfway solid pass and would have got the win, but that's racing. You always have a chance of running into some issues, and just tonight was not his night, but in the end was still able to take away some money by getting second place in the class. Chris Gelball was out with his truck. If you follow along with any of his stuff or you watch the Firepunk YouTube channel, you've seen this truck. Silver street truck, crew cab 06 style truck. It's running a big single, I believe it's a 91mm Garrett. Has a D&J motor in it. I believe he made 2,100 and some change horsepower on the Firepunk dyno. He brought the truck out, ran Outlaw and Singles Elite. He ended up taking the win in Singles Elite, and I think he got knocked out one round before the money in Outlaw. But he ran the whole night fuel only in this truck and was able to get, I believe it was a 581, which is freaking screaming, especially seeing as it's a essentially full weight street truck, crew cab. I mean, the whole 9 yards. The truck is a freaking animal. So congratulations to him on his money that he earned as well. Brian Jellick in the Jelly Built 7.3. He made some changes over the last few weeks and got a new personal best. I don't know the exact time, but I know it was in the 540s, which is resetting that record. And also, like I said, a new personal best for him. So Brian, congratulations. I wish I was able to see it, but unfortunately 670 was lined up right behind Outlaw, so I missed it. But unfortunately for Brian, his night was ended early. He was lined up with Nathaniel in the Rudy's truck. I believe they went a 481 is what I heard, which is their fastest pass to my knowledge. And I believe that also may have reset a record for them. But anyways, kind of hard to beat. So anyways, congratulations to both of those guys. They were both freaking hauling the mail. Bringing it back a little closer to home, Trevor had his truck out there. I don't have any good pictures of the truck to show you, but with a last minute decision and a little bit of an impulse buy, he decided to switch over to a set of 28, 10, 5, 17 Hoosier slicks for the truck. He put them on the welds that he had on the truck originally. He got those on the morning of the event. I went out, did a burnout, rotated tires, did another good burnout, and headed to the track. I don't know the exact times he ran or the order they were run in, but I do know in qualifying his first pass was like a 681 maybe, 683, something in that range. And then he ran a test and tune pass. The truck went 668. And then when he went into the second round of qualifying, the truck went 674. So I believe that set him in as number 3 qualifier. I, luckily with dad bod, was able to get number 2 qualifier, which with a 673. And Brent was able to bring it home and do like he normally does, killing the game, and went 670. So Brent went into Eliminations number 1 qualifier. He made it a few rounds into the event, and unfortunately Swink knocked him out with a 673 to Brent's 673. So it was a pretty tight race. I think Swink just got a little bit better time on the tree than Brent did, and that ended his night. So congratulations to Brent on the 670 pass and number 1 qualifier, and congratulations to Jared Swink with the 6 liter. He made it several rounds into 670. He also ran the truck in Outlaw, and this is a full-blown, if you don't know the trucks, full-blown 6 liter street truck, like legit street truck, driven on the road all the time, still tows a trailer. And the truck ended up running his new personal best, I believe, which was a 6.1 and some change. So congratulations to him. That truck is a freaking monster as well, and I cannot believe I'm saying that about a 6 liter. But anyways, Jared, you might talk a lot of trash, but congratulations, the truck is freaking rolling. Matt also had the BMW out there. He was running into some issues. He had the car in 670 with the rest of us, and he was running into some technical difficulties, but the car did lay down some 6.7 passes, I believe. But trying to deal with tuning on that car, there's not a whole lot to work with. There's not very many people doing it, so there's not a whole lot of resources. It's more learning as you go. And he had changed a little bit on the fueling setup on the car, so trying to get it dialed in, everything wasn't perfect, and he ran into some technical difficulties, which I believe is what ended his night early as well. But anyways, if you're not already, be sure to follow him on social media and keep up with what he's doing. He's always innovating, making new things, and building a lot of stuff up for those cars. There's not much out there for him now, and he's definitely pushing the limit and raising the bar for that platform. Colin was also out in the Duramax. You remember seeing him from the Rudy's videos. It's the white Cat Eye Duramax cool kid. His dad's an awesome guy as well. They've been working on dialing the truck in. A couple weeks ago, they got a couple 670 passes in. They came out this weekend, tried to put in work. Unfortunately, they were battling issues all weekend. They could not get the truck to hook up. And anyways, they just had a lot of issues fighting with the truck. So I feel bad for them on that, but I know they're gonna get it right. They got some things they're gonna change over the off season and come back next year swinging. So like I said before, I believe his Instagram is Colin336. You can follow him on there. And like I said, it's a beautiful truck. It's got a ton of potential. Stock motor Duramax with a 485, and I believe it's 300 overs. So the truck has a ton of potential, and it'll be flying before long. So anyway, sorry you guys, the weekend wasn't the best, but it was good seeing y'all as always, and we'll see y'all next time. Anyways, like I said, sorry if I missed some guys though. There was so many of you guys out there, so many of the local guys here too, as this is our local event at our local track. So I know I missed some people, I'm sorry. But anyways, for the sake of the video, I'm gonna try to go ahead and jump into the dad bod, how our weekend went, and try to break down these passes. Like I said, I may get some stuff mixed up with who I raced which round, but I'm gonna try to break it down the best I can. I'll also throw time slips up as we go through the video. So the first round, 670 qualifying, I was lined up with Santjer. The truck spooled up good. The truck made a good pass. Reaction times for the first part of the night really sucked. I don't know what I had going on. Part of it is I was in 670 and ET, so I was on a pro tree and sportsman tree back to back, and trying to just keep track of that and not mess up. It was kind of in my head a little bit. So if I need any more excuses, I guess I could throw out. I got stung by a bee on my thumb that morning that runs the launch control, so that kind of messed with me a little bit, but enough excuses. Anyways, reaction time sucked, but the truck spun on launch. I did a 159 60 foot, and the truck went 678 at 103 and some change. So right on par with what the truck has been doing, other than the fact that we spun. The track felt pretty good, but it was cold, so I'm thinking that had more to do with it than anything. So anyways, I didn't know if maybe there was water on the tire or what, so I said, you know what, I'm gonna make another hit, see what the truck does, and before I go changing anything. So the second pass was ET qualifying round one. Can't remember who I raced in that pass. I believe it was a 12 valve that was a stick shift truck. I'm not 100% sure, so sorry if I'm wrong on that. But anyways, the truck spun yet again. I did a 158 60 foot and went 681 at 103. Reaction time was better on the sportsman tree. I did a 063 reaction time, so that's a little bit better. Not quite where I wanted it to be, but it was more what I'm used to doing. So going into Q2 of 670, I was lined up with Matt Gardenia. I wasn't too focused on racing anybody really. It was more or less just trying to get my reaction times down and trying to get the truck to not spin. So we ended up, the truck did a 151 60 foot, so did a little bit better, but all of a sudden my reaction time was a 0.20. So I don't know what happened there. And the truck went 673 at 103. So like I said, the truck still doing what it should, but reaction time sucked. Matt actually ended up beating me to the finish line. I believe he qualified in with a 680. But that pass there ended up giving me number 2 qualifier, like I said, next to Brent. So that was pretty cool. And that had me sitting pretty going into 670 eliminations. Going into Q2 of ET, not exactly sure what happened with that one. Again, reaction time sucked. But again, I wasn't too focused on the reaction times. I was more or less just messing with the truck, wanted to make sure it was gonna stay consistent. I had let a little bit of air out of the tires to see if it would help. I let out about 2 pounds front and rear, and I just wanted to see if that would help my 60 foot and the truck still stay consistent. I spun a little bit yet again, went a 161 60 foot, so a little worse than before, and it went 684 at 104. So definitely a worse pass. Again, I don't know if there was some water on the tires that pass or what the deal was, but anyways, truck slowed down a little bit and spun, so I knew I had some work going into eliminations. So going into 670 eliminations, first round I was lined up with a guy, and sorry man, I cannot remember your name. If you see this, hit me up because I cannot remember your name to save my life. But anyways, he had a 12 valve, it was a white single cab, and the truck was freaking flying. Again, my reaction time, not where I wanted it to be. And after this pass is when I kind of started catching on to what was going on. Pretty sure that the track somehow, there was some miscommunication. They switched over to a 400 Pro Tree instead of a 500, and that's what was killing me with my reaction times. I talked to a handful of other guys that are also known for good reaction times, and they all were struggling, and all of us were right at a 10th off of what we should have been. So pretty sure that's what the problem was. But anyways, no excuses. We were all battling the same thing, and so in the end, it all worked out. Anyways, racing the guy with a 12 valve. I was able to pull off a 0.19 reaction time, which was a little bit better. And the truck went 678 at 103, and I slammed the brakes right at the finish line. His pass was a 673, so it was a pretty tight race. The whole way down the track, I saw two red things in my field of vision the whole time. One was the tack being buried in the red, and the other thing was the flame shooting out of his hood stack right beside me the whole way down the track. So I think I ended up beating him by like a bumper. It was pretty tight race. But anyways, that's how Eliminations round 1 at 670 was. ET bracket round 1, ended up lining up beside a guy, and he claimed that I guess his dial-in was supposed to be like an 820, and they had him set at 770. But unfortunately for him, as soon as you take the lights, you're accepting the dial-in that they have set on the board, and so that's what happened. And you can kind of guess how that went. With the truck running a lot slower than what his dial-in was, it didn't work out too good for him. But as for me, the truck did a 02 reaction time, so much better and much more what I'm used to doing. So I was happy about that. Spun pretty bad, did a 162 60 foot, and I was off the gas early, and it ran out to a 720. Going into 670 round 2, somebody got the buy run, and it just so worked out that I ended up getting the buy. So I knew I've been having issues with the tree. All I had to do was break the beams, but I went ahead, I staged the truck and launched it to see if the truck would hook. I let a few more pounds of air out of the truck, so I'm down, I think it was 7 pounds from what I normally do. And just to try to get the truck to be consistent and leave somewhat normal. The truck did a 158 60 foot, so not great, but a little bit better than it had been. And again, the reaction time was a 0.2. So I don't know what was going on with me, but I could not do anything with the Pro Tree at Truck Wars. And as I said, I wanted to hit the tree, do a 60 foot pull and let out. And that's what I did. I pulled through first and second, and then lifted and coasted to the finish line. Going into round 2 eliminations for ET, I was lined up with a guy, I cannot remember his name, so again, sorry to you, but was a guy in a lifted L5P. He had a dial-in of 965, again to my 670. And I honestly scared myself on this pass. As you'll see in the video, when I launched the truck, you hear the truck kind of stutter on launch, and the reason is, I did a 0.002 reaction time. So that is by far the best I have ever done. And honestly, it scared me, and I was about to jam the brakes. I bumped back on the staging limiter because I thought that it was gonna be a red light. And when I realized it was green, I let back off and kept on going. Luckily for me, he broke out, and I went a 169 60 foot and a 687 at almost 104. So the truck would have been consistent had I not stumbled on the launch, but the reaction time I was stoked with when I got back. So I've always wanted a 00 reaction time. Now I guess the goal is to go to a 000 reaction time, or that 001. So anyways, still gonna keep working on the reaction times. I would love to be able to do this more consistently, as would everybody, but that was cool. That's one of the goals that I've had for a while that I was finally able to reach. So that was pretty nifty. So 670, round 3. I'm pretty sure this is the pass that I was lined up with Daniel McEwen. If you're not sure who he is, this is Tim Barber's old truck. It now has a D&J motor in it and a decent sized set of compounds, and is a freaking clean looking truck, and good running truck as well. Unfortunately, he was having some tuning issues he was trying to fight through. It wasn't really working out in his favor, and it worked out in my favor. I did a 0.18 reaction time to his 0.20, so I got him a little bit off the tree. The truck did a 152 60 foot, and I was on the brakes early. The truck went 691 at 90 miles an hour. So like I said, man, it sucks. Hate to lose somebody that's having some issues, but regardless, I believe this is the first event he's been able to get to with the truck, and he went a 7.0, so that's, you know, nothing to really shake a stick at. That was pretty good pass, and I know he's been 680s before trying to get the truck dialed in, so he should have been all over the number, but like I said, unfortunately, he had some issues. So ET round 3. I'm not sure who this guy is. If anybody knows him, be sure to tag him, or I don't know, let me know who he is, because I'd like to add him on Facebook, Instagram, stuff like that, keep up with him, because the truck is really clean. I used to have a Duramax look just like his. All right, let me take that back. Looks similar to his. His looks way better, but the plan was to make it look like his does. But anyways, you'll recognize the truck. I raced him in the Gamblers race in Spring Rudy's, and I ended up beating him in the finals due to a red light. And we had a replay of that same pass tonight. So he runs a 770 dial-in, was in 770 index as well, and he did a 04 red reaction time. So he jumped a little bit early. That kind of threw me off a little bit, and I did a 0.12 reaction time, so a lot slower than it needed to be, but wasn't really fighting anything. I knew I had to pass one, but I still wanted to run it out and see what the truck was gonna do. It did a 159 60 foot and went 677 at 103. So 670 round 4. This was the semifinals, if I remember correctly. I was lined up with Dave and his C10. You'll probably recognize the truck. It's been on 1320 video as well as a few other YouTube channels. But anyways, it's a 2-wheel drive C10 with a Cummins swaps, a 12-valve truck, big compounds, big power, and the truck freaking rolls out. Really cool guy. Probably recognize him also from the video from, I believe it was Fall Truck Wars last year. I was lined up with him, and I double bulbed him. I felt bad about that, so I told him going into this one, man, I'm gonna do my best not to double bulb you. But anyways, the ended up being a fairly close race. We both went 672. I got him on the tree, had a 0.18 to his 0.22 reaction time, so that's where the race was won. Got on the brakes a little bit at the finish line, and like I said, went 672 at 101. So if I would have ran that one out, I would have been very close to breaking out on that pass. Also on that one, the truck did a 155 60 foot, so letting the air out did a little bit better. I did spin on pretty much every pass today, but it was minimized by letting some air out, and the truck was running the times I needed it to, so as long as it spun the same amount every pass, I would be good. So going into ET Eliminations, round 4, this was the quarterfinals, I believe, for ET. Like I said before, it was a ton of trucks. I ended up with Jason Brickhouse and his gas 1500. The truck actually moves out pretty good for what he's got done to it, but his dial-in was a 960, so for a Bolide Chevrolet, 960 moves pretty good. I did a 0.08 reaction time to his 1.3, so I was able to get him on the tree, did a 154 60 foot, and the truck did a 670 at 103. And that was riding the brakes the last little teeny bit of the track. So luckily we didn't break out, but I was stoked to get that 670 pass. That's a new personal best for me, and also the best I've done on a 670 pass in general. So anyways, that put me into the next round, and as I said, the truck was getting pretty warm, so I was headed into the finals of 670. In the 670 finals, lined up with Skyler. We raced before, as you'll remember. It's in the video that's in the intro, and I've raced him I think a couple times actually. But he's got a 06 styled Cummins silver crew cab with the fiberglass doors, and the truck pretty rolls. Anyways, he had my number. That's the best I can say. Again, I was fighting going between two different trees. Trans was getting hot, and I guess you'd say racing jitters or whatever you want to call were getting to me. I could not cut a good light in 670 to save my life, and this round it got me. So he did a 0.16 reaction time, so pretty good for a 400 tree, and my reaction time was a freaking 0.27. So I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going on with my pro tree reaction times, but that's where he won it, was on the tree. The truck did a 676 at 104, which is, you know, about what you could ask for. You know, it's right there where it's been doing all day. He did a 683 on the brakes at 97 and was able to take the win. So congratulations, Skyler. You got the big money. Got the Mark Downing cash kicker. And I think he also won, it was a S&B intake for your vehicle of your choice for winning 670. So anyways, congratulations to him. No excuses. I lost, I made a mistake, and he was the better racer of the day. So that was good for him. Still brought home money for getting second in the class, so that was cool. And as I said, at this point, the truck was hot. It was stupid hot, and I still had rounds to go in ET bracket. Went up for the semifinals in ET. There was a bye run, and of course I was not able to get the bye in that class. So I got lined up with Dennis Harnish. Dennis, if you go to any of the Truck Wars events or you're in the Northeast area, you'll probably recognize the truck. It's like a silverish blue color. I don't know what you actually call the color. Single cab Duramax, deadly consistent. He's a deadly racer. If I had to guess, he's probably won enough money racing that truck to pay for what he's got in the truck. But anyways, extremely good guy, good racer and all that. And I figured, well, just got knocked out of 670. What better time to get knocked out of ET? So came up, like I said, truck was hot. There was smoke coming out from under the hood. Dad bod was pissed off and talking trash to me. But anyways, went ahead up. I gave the truck just a minute to cool off. We ran up, made our pass. He did a 0.09 reaction time with a 762 dial in, so I was sitting there about a second. I did a 0.08 reaction time. Truck did a 158 60 foot and went 676 at 104, and he did a 754 at 87. So he ended up breaking out. He went almost a tenth too fast off of his dial in. He was scared to give up too much at the line, and ended up breaking out, trying to keep me from coming by him. So worked out in my favor. Sorry to knock you out, Dennis. At least you still got some money there. And it was a good race, man. It was tight. And anyways, I was happy going into the next round. Dennis is a big one to beat. And after that, I felt halfway on top of the world. I felt like I had a chance of actually bringing home the money. Going into the ET finals, as I said, the last probably 6 passes had been hot lapped. If you were there, I don't know how many people came up to me and were just like, dude, you need to give the truck a break. But, you know, kind of how the cards fell, just so happened as I finished one class, the other one was getting caught up, and it was literally go down, make a pass, come back, get back in the lanes, go right back down again. Pan temp was reading somewhere around 210 to 215. And it had started pushing fluid out of the dipstick, so locking dipstick is definitely in the off-season plans. But anyways, it pushed trans fluid. It was getting on the manifold. We were getting smoke. Opened the hood, smoke rolled out everywhere. So we ended up giving the truck probably, I don't know, 10 minutes to cool off. And going into the finals, the truck had got down to probably 180 degree pan temp. Coolant temp stayed cool the whole time, but of course, not running a heat exchanger, that didn't really help me any. So anyways, went into the finals. Again, truck did like it should. Sorry again to the guy that I raced in the freaking finals. Cannot remember your name to save my life, but I believe it's a BP powered truck. Anyways, his dial in was a 668 to my 670 dial in. So it was a pretty close race. And reaction time, he did a 0.25 reaction to my 0.02. So dad bod killed it on reaction time, did a 162 60 foot. It spun pretty bad. Was able to get out in front of him and rode the brake the last little bit and coasted to a 693 at 96 miles an hour. So anyways, truck did work. Truck did what it should, and we were able to bring home the win. So as I said, that ended up not being a bad night. Unfortunately, it was really late, and I had to work the next day. I think I got home around 12:30 and had to get up at 3:30 to go to work. So like I said, ended up late, but anyways, got a pretty cool trophy back there. It's a wooden plaque that Chris and them had made up with the Diesel Truck Wars logo on it and all. Also got some cash and got an Optilube box. So that's pretty neat. And like I said, overall, a pretty good event. Going forward, we do have intentions. We're going to pull the pan back off of the dad bod, make sure there's no trash and everything looks okay. On the drive home, it drove fine. Like I said, drove it to and from the track. So we ended up making, I think it was 15 passes total, as well as driving to and from the track. So truck got a little bit of a beating. I think we're somewhere around 75-ish passes on this trans and motor setup. So anyways, like I said, it drove fine on the way home, but the fact that it pushed a little fluid and got warm enough to do that, I do want to pull the pan and check everything over and make sure all looks well. It looked excellent last time it came off, so I'm not expecting much different, but it wouldn't hurt to, like I said, just check it over. So we're gonna do that before going into any other kind of event. I don't know if we're gonna make any more events with it throughout the rest of the year. It's getting pretty close to the end of the season. There's not a whole lot left local other than regular test and tune and bracket race, grudge race type events. So we may make it to one of those. We'll just have to see. But I am ready to get this thing out and do some hood rat activities, put the stockies on, and time for some tire frying. But anyways, that pretty much sums up our Truck Wars video. If you guys hadn't made it out to Truck Wars before, I definitely suggest you making it out. It's always a good turnout. The event's getting bigger and bigger every year. Show and shine vehicles were awesome. Darren had his square body out finally. That's a beautiful truck. And there was also a looked like tow mater rat rod, similar thing. He ended up getting third in show and shine, I think. There was an old Chevrolet that got first, and a lifted, what I'm gonna call SEMA style build truck that got second. So that was pretty cool to watch. There's your normal ET bracket racers, 770, 670, singles elite, which is the only limitation is no nitrous allowed for spool jet or anything, and single turbo only. And then there's outlaw, which is run what you brung. And outlaw, like I said, Chris Gelbo was out, made 580s in a full weight street truck. Brian had the 73 running 540s. Buddy had 570s and a completely stock motor Duramax, and then the Rudy's truck was out there running 480s. So it's a little bit of everything at this event. It's an event put on by the racers for the racers, so it's one I definitely suggest you guys getting out to. But anyways, like I said, that's gonna wrap this up. Shout out to the True Blood family. Huge thanks to them for allowing the guys to put on Truck Wars at Northeast Dragway. It's a pretty nice venue and an awesome time every year when we get to go to this. And the biggest thanks goes out to the Diesel Truck Wars crew, Chris and Buddy heading up the event, Randall doing an awesome job in the staging lanes, make sure everybody's lined out and keeping things clear for you, getting everybody paired up. He does an awesome job. All of them work really hard. Nikki and Ashley running the Truck Wars booth. All of it, the whole event just goes really smooth, and I know that it's not without a lack of effort. So good job to them guys. We all appreciate it as racers to have an event like this to go to, and we all look forward to it going forward. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for all the support over the last year that we've been doing this channel. It might be growing slow, but I do have a lot of people who seem to appreciate the stuff I put on here, and it gives me a way to also document the things that we're doing. So I'll keep doing it for now and see if it doesn't grow into something. If it doesn't, then we'll go from there. But anyways, thank you guys for watching, and thanks for the support, and we will see y'all next time. Who knows what we'll be doing next. So anyways, see y'all.